What's up, friends? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. I'm not sure how the sound is right now in my truck. This is not my red truck, which was a lot noisier. This is Black Star, a truck that I bought about a year ago, and love it, except for one thing. It's got a short bed on it, and I love having the full-size truck, but it's all good. I got me a couple sheets of plywood, one on the back here that's finished. It's literally finished. It's a maple plywood. It's already varnished. It makes it great if you're making makeable cabinets because you don't have to varnish it. And I got a sheet of bendable plywood because I'm building a piece that I need to bend the plywood with. So I'm going to work on that, and I'm actually going out to the country to pick up some mahogany for the top for this piece that I'm making. So this is kind of a stream of consciousness and me trying to put together the pieces. But what I try and do is I'm known as kind of a problem solver. You know, my good friend Alex, who's in his mid-80s, who taught me a lot about being a contractor, used to call me FF for short, which was fuck up fixer. He would say, when stuff is fucked up, call Mark because he'll find a way to fix it. And that's the thing that I'm really good at. I can picture something in my mind with what you want, and I can make it a reality. It's easier for me to just go ahead and show me a picture and I can build it than it is for me to build from plans. I can build from plans, but I'm just better just getting it visually and then making it reality. And that's what I'm doing in my workshop right now. I have a vision of what I want, and I'm going to try and make it a reality. So, with that being said, I like to think analytically and look at the data that's around me when I try and figure out something, when I try and solve a problem. And here's where I'm kind of putting these pieces together. This isn't anybody telling me this. This is my own thoughts of how things are going. And more times than not, I'll look back at things that have happened in the past and see how it relates to the things that are now to come up with the conclusion. So I'm sitting here understanding that originally the NFL had set the salary cap floor because of COVID at $175 million. Worst case. Now, a couple weeks ago, they said, okay, we're going to raise the floor up to 180. They haven't said a bottom number. I mean, they haven't said what the number's going to be, and I don't ever remember them saying, here's a rough estimate for you in the past. Because they pretty much know about where it's going to be, unless there's extenuating circumstances that may change the numbers greatly. And here's the extenuating circumstances. This is not exciting. I know everybody wants to hear about Dak Prescott. You know, he's trash and this, that, and the other. But this is where you have to look at all of these things that are relative to what's going on. I think that the salary cap is going to be way higher than $180 million this year. And you're probably saying, you're crazy for saying that. But I'm telling you, here's the deal. Friday, they finally got the last partner to basically have a rough agreement on the television contract. And that's ESPN. What the NFL went through originally was, we want to double what you were paying before the last contract. CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports said, no problem. You know, all of them were right around $1 billion. You know, they know that this is the kitty. This is where the money's at. We have to have this. Now, also, Amazon is now part of the equation, which also makes you think that Jeff Bezos may end up having an inside track at becoming an owner of the Washington football team. You know, there's those rumors out there as well that Jeff Bezos wants to buy it. He's stepped down as CEO of Amazon and, of course, has a home in DC, and they're building new headquarters. Could you imagine if Jeff Bezos, with his reach and his money and everything else, he could just say, screw getting money from the cities. I'll just take, you know, a week's worth of income and I'll build the best stadium in the world. I'm just saying that just put the pieces. This is where you want to put the pieces together. So Amazon is a partner. Now, finally, ESPN has gone through and they've agreed to a 30% increase. That's done. So the NFL has been trying to get this whole thing done before the beginning of the league year. It's like, okay, you've got a whole year. If it's close, why the rush to get this done before the league year? And the reason I think that is because this is going to have direct ramifications to what happens to this year's salary cap. Here's the thing. When you think about all this new money that's coming in, and here's where we know that teams like New Orleans, the Eagles, Atlanta, are so far underwater. The NFL and the NFLPA do not want to have this whole Armageddon of players just being cut, big names. And thus far, you haven't seen a lot of stuff that's been happening. Like I said, New Orleans was looking at being about 80 million underwater. They've got to clear up a lot of cap room. They got to restructure contracts. We're already into the 2nd of March. This has to be done in the next 15 days. You haven't seen, except for J.J. Watt, very many big signings of players that are technically free agents. It's like everybody's waiting to make moves. Even the Cowboys, who are negotiating with Dak Prescott, if they're going to franchise tag him, they have to restructure contracts to get that $37 million. Or if you're going to be a player free agency, you got to cut players to be able to be down at least at zero, and or to have money to do something with. So herein lies my thoughts. And I'm sitting here in traffic, and it ain't moving, and I've had too much coffee. I'm assuming that it's shut down for construction, and I'm gonna be here a while. So here's the thing. Teams aren't making these cuts yet. Other than the Texans. The Texans are just fire sealing, getting rid of everybody. But you're looking at these teams that are like they're waiting. They're waiting. And I believe they're waiting because they know that more money's coming. They don't want to go through. You don't want to go through and say you're the New Orleans Saints and say, we need $80 million. All right, let's go ahead and cut half the team right now. Let's go ahead and restructure the other half and get ready to try and work this. You don't do that if you think that it's not going to be as bad as what you're looking at. You follow me? Does that make any logical sense? That there's got to be a reason why teams haven't started the gutting process. And that is, they know that the salary cap, they've been probably informed in internal memos or meetings that the new money from the television contracts, along with the gambling money, is going to be added to some amount onto it. I wouldn't dare be surprised if we go back to the 195 or even 200 million point. And you can call me crazy, you can call me an idiot, that's fine. But this is where I'm trying to connect the dots and look at the pieces. Nobody's making these major moves. Nobody's franchise tagged anybody yet. And we're already a week into this. And we haven't heard about any big contracts that are close. We've heard really very little for this far into free agency. And I believe that you're going to see all of a sudden a big pile of money added to the salary cap. We'll find out if I'm right or not in 15 days? But don't be surprised. And remember who told you this. When it comes true, remember Joe Boo Sports Report told you on the 2nd of March that the salary cap that they're saying the minimum is 180 explodes. And at least when I tell you guys something, as opposed to Dan Orlowski and how they want to fit the narrative of things, I gave you a reason to my theory of why it'll happen. And if you think about it, you got to admit, it does make sense. Oh, boy. I hate traffic. I hate traffic. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I can't wait to get this mahogany so I can start laminating it up to make this big-ass top. Got something special in the works for the studio. Yeah, visions. I have a look in my eye, or a thought, that how I want things to be, and I'm gonna make it a reality. And when it's done, you guys can be like, damn, how did you see that? Because that's what I do. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.